Everybody, welcome, and I'm going to try recording this. All right. Welcome to this live stream tonight. Very, very windy. I have my dual bracket. I was going to put the phone right beside it, but I don't feel like looking up. We are live. I got the notification. Fantastic. This is such a great way to live stream. If you don't want to show anything, from your phone, I mean, you just have to hold it up. Welcome everyone, and I have a new follower this week, and I'm in single digits with followers, guys. I mean, as far as like, subscribers, joining my channel. I get 1 or 2 a month, so everyone counts. I really appreciate it. Now, I have the DJI Mic 2 connected to the Pocket 3. And you notice I put, in the thumbnail, put a graphic of the Pocket 3. I think I'm going to start doing that. I use the thing so much. And I started out actually disliking the Pocket 3 for live streaming and thinking it was terrible. But the Mic 2 is amazing. I'm going to turn this off for a second. Excuse me, I'm going to turn the noise reduction off. Full spectrum. You probably hear the music. There's a group of guys back here from Thailand, and they're actually having a party. A couple guys over here. I think they're Taiwan guys. I'm not sure though. And they're fixing their scooter. So yeah. But it's windy tonight, and I'm not too happy, and I'll tell you why. Let me turn the noise reduction back on. This week, on Tuesday, I finally got the Celestron StarSense auto guider for my computerized telescope. It was a thrash to get. I'm not going to go into details, but let me just say that Celestron probably isn't the smartest company in the world when it comes to making money, which is the goal of any company. We've been through that before. And I took it up on the roof. It was like not good conditions at all. But I actually went through the procedure a couple times and got it to actually plate solve and align the telescope automatically by itself, even when half the sky was cloudy. And they say this thing can see stars that you can't see. And boy, I'll tell you right now. So like I'm seeing like Deneb is probably the brightest star that I can see. I mean, of course, Vega, Sirius, and the Capella, the big names. But where I live, it's a borderline Bortle 7, which is along the light pollution scale. Boy, is it hard to see. Anyway, I'm going on a trip next weekend to an island. And it's very dark, and I'm hoping that, hope to goodness that it is clear, because I'm going to bring that telescope. Tonight's beverage, guys, remember, last time I was here, I had this peach stuff, one of the peach drinks, right? I mean, I had 3. Was it? Gosh, I got to go back and look at the thumbnail. Anyway, one of them was apple, and I couldn't drink it because it tasted like it had NutraSweet, which I'm allergic to. I'm going to move this down a little bit. I have my really fancy holder. I can't show you because I can't show you what it looks like. But yeah. But the peach I really liked, and I got a Strongbow berries, and I got a Strongbow gold, which I'm going to drink in a minute. So I'm drinking the second one. I got 4 things tonight. 2 of the peach. These are 3%, 2%. So yeah. So, can I rant? Well, it's a rhetorical question. Everybody knows. Yeah, I can rant. I can rant pretty darn well when I want to, but I'm asking for your permission. I love Taiwan, and I love Taiwan people. But damn, if there aren't some stupid, like, assumptions, and just every day I'm confronted with them. I'll ride my bike and pull up to a barbecue stand, and out of the corner of his eye, the boss will see somebody and he'll go, ni hao, then he'll go, oh, hello. Okay, that's fine. But I was sitting at a bench and I was eating some, believe it or not, deep fried pork rinds. 0 carbs, 0 glycemic load. And this guy, I hear my name. And I think I know who it is, and it's somebody I haven't seen for a long, long time. So he called my name and I said, hello, yes. It's okay for me to say hello. Actually, telling people use hello among themselves all the time. It's a way of saying, hey, is anybody there? Just like English. So I said this, this guy says, so it is you? I'm like, yeah. And he comes over and he's like, do you remember me? I said, yeah. And I said his English name twice. Now, I don't know his Chinese name because he never introduced me by his Chinese name. He goes by Paul. And I said it twice and he didn't understand it because I didn't say Paulo. What just happened? Because I didn't say Paulo. Oh, I know what happened. I went like this in the, yeah, okay. Let me turn this off. This is annoying me. I didn't say it like the, see, this is interesting. I've been to places where, like, the boss lady saw me and she starts going, Bilo, 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 Bilo. Do you know what that means? Bilu? It's supposed to mean beer. She's telling me, oh, we got beer. Oh, Bilo, Bilo, Bilo. And if you didn't know that, you wouldn't understand anything. That's not a word, Bilu. And so, what this guy does, Paulo, or Paulo, there actually is a Chinese translation, but he, anyways, supposed to know his name. This guy, he can't speak English, okay? He can't speak English to save his life. And he insists on interlacing Chinese with terribly pronounced English words that I have no idea what they are. And it's like, I can't even, the Chinese I can understand, but I can't get enough intelligibility out of the sentence to even understand what he's saying. Hey, Feifei, how are you doing? Wow, yes, dear friend, thank you. That's how I feel about you too. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, you must have like changed your work schedule because we really miss you. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Feifei, right? That's her cute little nickname. Was like my #1 fan in the world. This is funny. I got a follow on Twitter by this person, and so naturally, you want to look at their profile and see who they are, and follow them back. And I was the only person that she was following on the entire platform of Twitter. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! It's crazy. Yeah. Oh, always a pleasure. And you're still, you're still in our line group, so yep. Feel free to drop in sometime. Yeah, I need to catch up with you, see, because I know a lot's happened with you. It's not new now, but hey. Yeah, the Huko Shinfong Massive. There you go. Rob Kilo, fist pump. All right, Rob's in the house. But it was so funny when I saw Feifei's Twitter profile, and I was the only person on the entire platform that she was following. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But yeah, and then you had very different, life in general just happened. Yeah, no, I understand. And I mean, it's not new now, but I remember when you got your new house, she was having a house built. It was really, there's a lot of anticipation, good anticipation, because she showed pictures to me and also to those of us in our line group. We have a line group like just for my followers who they all know each other anyway, right? So it's just It's not really my group, but I'm the one that started it. But the thing is it was amazing. And she has like this really cool, I still remember this, she has this really cool water fixture, you know, of the sink, right? And it's made in Taiwan with touchscreen programmable temperature, you know. So if you wanted like, I want the water at 78.2 degrees C, you could just, that kind of stuff is crazy. I love it. But Feifei, what I'm talking about was, saw this guy a little while ago. I'll get to the point, but I'm going to fill it in. I know you got to go. He insists, he can't speak English, but he insists on interlacing Chinese with English. And I have no idea what he's saying, right? Voca, V-O-C-A. Yeah, I would like to buy it, but that would be like putting a GTR badge on my VW. But yeah, what I would have to do, that thing would be so cool. I would have to buy like another house to surround it, you know, to make it work. Yeah, that'd be cool. But we're not, there's a couple guys over here. I might interview them later, who knows. They're fixing a scooter. They got some adult beverages. They got their wrenches out and stuff in the park, and some Thai guys behind me. I have the DJI mic with the noise reduction on, so you can't really hear it. But this guy was just, here's the thing, and Feifei, you know this there's something about Chinese speaking people. It's the assumptions that just, you know, I haven't seen this guy, I don't know, for 10 years. Look, if I throw a can on the ground and leave it there, don't worry, the recycling aunties come and get it. That's gold mine for them. But they ask questions like, so he comes, he goes, hey, you want to go drink? I'm like, no. And he goes, oh, you don't drink anymore. No, I didn't say that. I just said I don't want to drink right now. Why don't you want to drink right now? What's wrong? It's like, God, it's like all the 1,000 questions and a bunch of pressure, you know? And I haven't seen this. Listen, I wasn't friends with him back then, had nothing in common with him. This is a guy that would come into a place and just give me in English in front of everybody the first page of the English book. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. This is the guy that would say to me in front of the whole place, how are you? And I would say, I'm fine, thank you. And he would go, are you sure? Because he didn't know what else to say. And that was just perpetuating the myth to all the people that can't speak English, that he can speak English. And so he was pulling it on me again. And so he was saying a word, and it turned out to be, the word was few, F-E-W, but the way he was using it was not correct. And he would go on and he was saying, and it wasn't few, it was few. And, oh my God, it was like, it took me an eternity just to extract that sentence. And after I was done for that effort, I wasn't rewarded by anything useful. And so, yeah, then I said, well, I really don't want to drink beer. Oh, we can drink whiskey, but it's like, how do you say to somebody, I don't want to go anywhere with you and do anything with you? Next thing was like, oh, let's go to the karaoke. I'm not a karaoke kind of guy. Yeah. Jeez. But what it is, it's the intense pressure. And Feifei will tell you, it's something about Chinese speaking societies. There's all this pressure to do stuff. And if you don't, if you say no, they want to know why. And so I just told the guy, it's not your business, none of your business. So I'm like, he said, what are you going to do? I'm going to go over here. He says, oh, you're going to see your friend. I'm at the point now where what I used to do in Thailand, whatever the Thai cops said to me, I just said yes. Oh, you in Thailand, holiday, yeah. You have Thai wife, yeah. Whatever they said, I just said yeah, just so they leave me around. Yeah, but you see, I know. But see, here's the thing. I could say that to you in English, and you would be okay with that because you're you're Chinese descent and you are Australian, okay? You're Australian Chinese. If I said that to you in Chinese, it wouldn't be the same, would it? Because we say in Chinese, you know, like, 你问太多了, yeah, you ask too much, you know? And so, you know, 不要问多了, just don't ask anymore. It sounds very impolite. But to a person, I mean, I would just say, I guess I'm not making myself clear. I don't want to do anything, okay? And I would say I got a problem with that, and that'd be very, very clean. That would be very, very clear, yeah. But yeah, so, oh, come on, man. I hate when this happens. Yes, it would come across as rude in Chinese, right? So, I mean, I'm not trying to insult the guy at all. I've got nothing against him, except he's using a language he can't speak, and he's pressuring me to go do something I don't want to do. And this leads to lying. And I don't lie. I don't believe, you know, there are only the only circumstances to me for lying would be like when you don't owe somebody, like a criminal, the truth. You don't owe somebody the truth. That's the only time, right? So he's saying, that's interesting how he said, 不是. Huh. Yeah, I never would have used it that way. Interesting. Not outright denial, but... Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. What he's saying is next time. Oh, yes. Okay. My gosh. On my phone, it is like... It is so tiny. Yes. It's 下次, next time, right. That's what he's saying. Actually, you're absolutely right about that. And it's, you know what I'm going to say, Rob? It's almost like it's automatic with us, right? And so, but yes, okay, so Shaisa comes around and then they're like asking again. And remind you, how about you said, yeah, oh, dry. So, okay. 上一次你说下一次啊, right? The last time you said it would be the next time. So, yeah, yeah, I know. It's I can read them when they're bigger, but like I'm looking at the chat in this, and there's no way to change. Well, did they add that? Nope. They didn't add the option for larger. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but I think there might be an option to change the font at the system levels. No, they're not. No, I know exactly what you mean. We're not. 下次. A lot of times, right, it's just like, oh, 好了, 下次. It becomes kind of like a ritual. Okay, next time. If I'm not mistaken, Rob, because that's almost instinctive by now. Oh, 下次, right? I think I may have even said that, But what I've had to explain to people is, 我没有说我不喜欢，我就说现在我不要, right? Which means I never said I didn't like it. I just said right now I don't want it. It's different, so yeah, that's a good point that Rob's making. It buys you time to come up with an excuse. But my gosh, it's like, what I should have said to him was, 我不要压力. But I did actually say to him, he started to ask too much, and and I just said, 不是你的事情, okay? It's none of your business, not your affair. Not, we say business, but it doesn't mean like doing business. We just say it's none of your affair. It's like, man, oh man. He's asking me more stuff, you know. He's asking for a greater explanation than I would give my wife. I don't feel like doing it. She would be like, okay. So, anyway, I've said that to a couple guys here in Taiwan. I said, you're bothering me like a bad wife. And they're like, what? I said, you're asking all these questions and you're not taking no for an answer, and you force them, it's like, what's going on, man? What are you doing? I had these conversations a lot. And I just say stuff like, they want to know what I think, and I go, I'm not your husband. I'm not your boss. Really, can't get too involved in personal affairs, but so this now, we switched to it's our new sponsor. This is Strongbow Gold Apple. Well, that's the kind of sponsorships I could get. I can't get gear sponsorships, but I could probably get booze. Brought to you by Old Monk, 7-year-old vatted Indian rum. But yeah, a lot of things are like that in various languages, where it sounds really rude in one language, but in another language it's completely different. You say the same thing. You know what used to bug me? When I went to New England, instead of saying you're welcome, when somebody says thank you, I would get like, no problem. And I looked at one day, I said, what did you just say? He said, I said, no problem. And I said, what? I said, thank you. Why would there be a problem? I don't know. I just found that condescending. So I don't say that. One time I use no problem is if I'm driving and somebody sends me a text message and I just type NP send. Okay, that's when it's convenient, or that's when it's appropriate. But yeah, I always thought that no problem was weird, and this is the one that bugs me too. No, I'm okay. Or that's okay. I asked them the other day. I said, I have an idea about something. Would you like to hear it? And they said, that's okay. And I said, now hold on a second. This is English, and I know sometimes people say that's okay to mean no. Do you mean that's okay, I can tell you, or that's okay, you don't want me to tell you? And she said, I don't want you to tell me. And then I said, that's okay. You put this back. This is my foil-lined Guinness 4-pack shoulder bag that I take when I'm out drinking. Just, beer and stuff. Simple stuff. This is great. I don't have to worry about losing the mic because I got it stuck on my shirt. And I'm wearing one of my batik shirts I got from the island of Bali. It's great. You take care. Feifei, we'll see you. Thanks so much for joining. Jaspy, Feifei, thank you so much. Good to see you again. It's been a long time. So do you guys have problems like that with, things like that's okay, meaning no, and I don't know what to do. All right, I gotta take a dose of medicine here. But yeah, there's I don't want people to do that. And the other one that bugs me is like, and it's easy to do in conversation, is the yeah, no, that one, because you agree with the person, but then you want to say no to something. So, blah, blah, yeah, no. That always kind of, I always thought that was very, very strange. Yeah, no. No problem. I didn't think there was. But yeah, so Rob, what's going on with you this evening? This is ridiculous. I look in the sky, man, and it's like, I don't know if you can see the trees or anything, but they're just, blowing around like crazy. Let me do this. This is a park, and I don't know if you see the trees moving around here or whatever. And the guys, no, I can hear them talking. I think they're Filipino. They're not Taiwanese, and they're fixing their scooter. And the Thai guys are over there. And if I do this, I think I can. Excuse me. I think I can zoom in. They're right behind that scooter. And these guys over here are fixing their scooter. Behind that sign, there's a scooter there. Yeah, it's a windy night for sure. And, I don't mind the wind so much. It's just that the humidity is crazy. My weather station was telling me tonight that it was like 79% humidity or something just ridiculous, and it's just so. It's a windy night, and it's cloudy, and it's humid. But if it was going to be clear, even though it was windy a little bit, the problem with the wind, though, it does affect the telescope because the wind is not such a. The wind does help with that, yes. Taipei today was a nightmare, but you know what? Taipei's a nightmare all the time, but it has nothing to do with the wind, haha. But yeah, I can imagine old and dirty and tiny streets and no parking and bike lanes that aren't respected, and the list goes on. I actually strongly dislike Taipei. Like I said, the only time I go in there is when I need a passport renewed. But the telescope, I mean, I don't have a observatory class mount for it, and I'd have to make a concrete pier with rebar attached to the roof of my house, with bolts coming up. But the thing is, just that, just the tripod and the telescope on it, the wind does shake it, so it's terrible for imaging. Of course, if you're just using it for visual astronomy, it's just a little bit annoying. It's going like this, and then it'll stop, and then it goes like that, and then it stops. But that's the only thing. But if it was clear, I probably would have gone to that place. I probably would have gone to the bunker. But Rob, I was looking around, and you know that bunker. Am I correct? You've seen it with your own eyes. You know exactly where it is. It is actually further down the road from the entrance to the Jinsu Trail, right? So I'm going to read this because we don't have the comments burned, but it says, yes, you know exactly, because with the southwesterly winds, though, there's a phone effect. Wow, listen to this, guys. So that the air descending back down into the Taipei Basin is warmer than it started off as it swept up the Taoyuan Plateau. This is amazing. I love this kind of talk. Yeah, this is really interesting, and I never really thought about that. But I knew that Taoyuan is a plateau, and where I live, it's kind of a plateau also, and it goes up a little further where that bunker is, but up to that, and I can see all those from my house, but like I can see the mound anyway for it. So you know exactly that bunker. Okay, there's another one that I saw on Google Maps. I haven't been there. Okay, so you know where the Jinshu Trail is, where you go down to the temple. You go past, and then go around the curve, and then you take a left at that next T road, and then the bunker's off to the left. But apparently, if you continue down that road, off to the left again is another one, and I saw that one. I saw from Google Maps. That one looks absolutely off the charts. I'll tell you what I can do. I can probably just find it right here on Google Maps, and just yeah, let me find it, and I'll go over here, and I think it's, come on, I think it's this one right here, or it's this one. Hang on, no, it's got to be this one. Looks like it says 7 stars in Chinese. Is that what it is? Anyway, yeah. Look at this thing, holy cow. Okay. That's a bunker, right? That I haven't seen before. And here's, come on, I hate when it does this. There's another picture. Look at that, man, that is cool. So I got another place that I need to go check out with another bunker. So my question is have you been, okay, have you been there? Oh, that's the one, okay. Okay, when I was streaming from that, okay, so you know what? I want to try that other one, because there may actually be a better signal from there, but that could be, wow. I should buy one of those and make a studio out of it, because it's underground. Yep. That's the one you meant. Okay. By the huge banyan tree. Because you saw the picture, I think, of that one. Oh, okay, well, I wasn't going to bust you on that, because I'm not so hot on. The only species of tree that I know is white oak and red oak, because I use it for cooking and smoking food. Yeah, okay. So, all right. So you've been to that one too then, right? Okay. You know what we should do, man? We should run a cable from my car over inside one of those bunkers. I should bring my Tascam DP32 portable digital recorder, and we should record a song in the bunker. Just do it right there. I have a Yamaha DR75. It's only this big, man. Drum pads, bass, guitar, I got everything. We can do that. I don't, and I never use chips, and the whole chips with the water thing is the wrong approach. But I designed a smoker. Actually, had it built in Khon Kaen, Thailand. It's still in the village in Mong Pon. But there is a place, of course, now on the East Coast. If you go to my friend Andreas, who owns the Green Farm, he and his wife Kathy, they can get wood over there. But yeah, I would like. It's one of the reasons I don't have a smoker here. When I was in New Hampshire, I was notorious. In fact, one day I went to the D'Angelo sandwich shop to get something, and the guy said, "Hey, are you the guy that?" Because what it was, when I walked in the door, I was wafting, of smoke, and he said, "Are you the guy that's been doing the smoking?" And I go, "Yeah." He says, "Man, it smells so good down here." I said, "I can't stand it. What do you smoking?" I said, "I got a load of Arkansas ribs." And he's like, "What would it take for me to try some of them?" I said, "It would take about 10 minutes. So I went home and wrapped up a plate, and brought him down, and he's the manager of the store. He says, man, I got to give you something for these. I'm like, well, okay, but it can't be money. He says, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the most expensive thing we got in the store. So what's that? I said, it was a lobster sub, and he loaded that thing up. He must have used about 3 lobsters on that thing, but that was fun. But I was notorious for that, right? So I have tons and tons of experience. I mean, years of experience with that. And when I went to the States back in 2010, I bought a smoker with my sister, you know, and I showed them how to use it. And they have white oak. And when we go back this summer, I'm going to do the same thing. My sister said that her neighbor's husband died, but he has a smoker, and we can use it. So, because he's not going to be using it, unfortunately, we'll just wheel it over there. But we can buy white oak. Where I lived in New Hampshire, the convenience store had bundled wood. It was $5 a bundle. And every day after work, I'd get 2 bundles. And I got to the point where I could tell you how long, I could look at a pile of wood and tell you how long it was going to burn. And I could tell you about how hot it would burn too. It was amazing. It's amazing how you get like that, right? I mean, you think about, you know, the pioneer days and so forth before gas stoves and electric stoves. I mean, you could be very, very precise about cooking and processes based on wood because it's pretty consistent. I mean, if it's, you know, well dried and not, you know, not wet. But to get back to what you're asking about, there has to be a place on the West Coast. But that's one of the reasons I don't have a smoker, is because I've never been able to find a reliable source. Now, in those mountains over there in Shimpu, right? In Shimpu, let me read this. Yeah, bundles of wood are, yeah, gas station. Yeah, well, you're just using it for firewood, but yeah, pine is not a good wood for smoking food. But hey, there's no reason you can't enjoy a nice outdoor fire with pine. But yeah, Switzerland has hardwoods too, but they're making beautiful furniture out of it and wooden floors and things, you know, and homes. But in Shimpu, from where those bunkers are on the other side, if you go around the mountain and down, over there one day, coming from the, you know, the Baozhong Yimen Miao, the Yimen Temple, right? Come from that way, and then you hang a left and go up the mountain past one of the old abandoned tea processing buildings up in that area. I was going up there one day, and I happened to just look to the left. I don't know why, because you're concentrating on these windy roads. I looked to the left and I saw a guy that he had really, it was a charcoal factory. Because I got to tell you, I thought that charcoal making in Taiwan had been abandoned, because every bag of charcoal you get now is either from Vietnam or Indonesia. Here, you can't make charcoal in Taiwan because you can't get the wood, I mean, the forests are off limits, and we don't in Taiwan, we don't have lumber forests, you know, like you would in these other countries. I was in Kyoto, and between Osaka and Kyoto, and I saw an absolutely beautiful. Okay, I saw a beautiful lumber forest, but we don't have that kind of stuff here. Oh man, oh man. Hey, listen, I'd love to go over there with you. That'd be amazing. We got to find out. Yeah, listen, got to share that info. I'd really appreciate it. But I happened to look left, as I was driving up the mountain, and a guy had like an earthenware, like a handmade clay oven, and he had a stack of wood. And the logs weren't too big, they were kind of small, but they were all dark red. And I was like, heck yeah, man, whoa. You know what? I should have, at that point, I was busy, I was in a hurry, and I'm like, I'll just go back sometime. I never went back. I should go back. I think I could find it again. I mean, I know the road. I just got to drive and look to the left, right? If I find that guy again, though, I'm going to ask him, hey, where do you get that wood? I didn't know that. Huco used to be a major charcoal production area. Is there any, like, abandoned charcoal factories around? One of the villages I used to visit, my Thai lawyer has 2 wives. And his first wife lives in Ubon Ratchasima, which is probably about 60 kilometers from Cambodia. And I was wandering around that village, and people were making charcoal in the village. You know, they stacked up the wood and they built up earth around it to starve it. It was pretty interesting seeing that. You know, when you think about making charcoal the old-fashioned way, where you would just build a fire and starve it, you wouldn't think that would work. But there's some smart people out there. Of course, the major advantage of charcoal is, like, why would you make charcoal? Well, you know, 1,000 years ago, I mean, weight makes a difference. Mike repairs stuff. Mike, I'm really sorry, bro. I didn't see you. This pump. I didn't see her coming. I'm sorry. I was looking around. Thank you so much for joining. Gosh, I don't know why I didn't see that. Maybe because of the way I'm holding my phone. Maybe I had my thumb. I was covering it. I'm sorry, bro. Good to see you, Mike. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, charcoal weighs so much less than wood, even dried wood, that it just makes a lot of sense to carry it, and it's easy to break. You know, you can modify it to fit your bags or whatever, so pretty cool. So where's that music coming from? Is it coming from the Thai guys back there? No, these guys over here, I guess, are they're playing some MP3s or something. So yeah, I wonder if there's any abandoned factories that could be explored. Now, actually, I almost sent you an email a couple of days ago, Rob, because I found a YouTube channel. Let's ran across it. It's a couple of guys, and they're in Europe. Well, I mean, do you know where some of it used to be? It would be worth taking a look. We could send the drone, as long as it's not restricted. We could send the drone up and take a look. But these guys are they go to some different countries, and their thing is bunkers. They find underground World War II bunkers, and boy, they are doing some hair-raising, claustrophobic stuff. They keep talking about their safety team, but I've never seen them. But it's 2 guys, and they're like, of course, they're young and they're skinny. I'd be with them and like, I gotta hang back, guys. Well, I can't fit in that hole, man. But yeah, that they went into a couple places, but it's not just that where they're going is fascinating. What they're doing is, in one single video, they'll visit like 3 bunkers. It's like, talk about bang for your buck. So you invest. What I used to hate was, when I'm usually watching a YouTube video, I got my hand on the remote, so I go, blah, 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 and you look for the little mountain, you know, where everybody's, okay, that's where I want to stop. Okay, yeah. Oh, that's okay. They finally got to it. And sometimes you'll see, you know, my name in a comment, and I'll say something like, the fun begins at 23:13, because I'm tired of just... And the other thing too is too many people on YouTube think they have to be Wikipedia, and they're going to show something and they have to give you the background, like, or the introduction. A lot of times people are looking for something on YouTube because they already know what it is. Like when I talk about, like on my studio channel, I've only got 2 or 3 videos there, but when I talk about something I discovered. I don't give the company history and go back 20 years, but it's like, it's like, for example, the DJI Pocket 3. If you don't know what the Pocket 3 is, you're not going to be looking at my video anyway. So why do I need to start out and say, oh, there used to be a Pocket 1, and then they made a Pocket 2, and now this is the, well, let's see, this is the Pocket 3. In the meantime, you get to the point, right? So these guys are not like that. They come on and they're talking, and it's subtitled in English, and this English subtitles are hilarious. A lot of misspellings. It's hilarious. But they're saying, okay, we found we think we know where the bunker is. One of our friends told us we're going to look, and immediately they're looking, and or in the scrub bush, go, oh, we found a cover. And I lift it up, and a guy goes, oh, it smells like a sewer. We're not going to go there. And so within 5 minutes, they found the first one. There's no, messing around. They don't tell you the history of the city or the history of World War II or this stuff, right? They go right into it. And it's amazing. So I've watched about 5 of their videos, and it was absolutely fascinating. But this YouTube channel is, believe it or not, Roofless. I just typed it under my my personal YouTube channel name. It is Roofless, and I think you'd find it amazing. Can't say enough about him. So they don't know me, and I got no horse in this game, but yeah, they'll never know I'm promoting them. Just look at this guy. Not a single star. It's just, you can actually see white. So Roofless. Yeah, now over here, let me go over here for a minute. Thai guys over here having a big blast. There was a park over here. It's across the street, right? There's like a trellis there, see? This place was overgrown and a mess for a long time, but they cleaned it up. But when I first came over here to live stream, this place was nasty, and it was really scary. It's crazy. Mike says I had a chicken breast cooked on Kingsford charcoal. It was the first in a while. Actually, the taste was nothing as good as smoked meats. Well, Mike, you know about Kingsford, right? I mean, the Ford, F-O-R-D, it's Henry Ford, and he was looking for a way to utilize his wood scrap, and he came up with a formula for using binders and glues, and they ended up making this chemical charcoal, and it's something you should never use, in my opinion. And in Asia, we only have Kingsford at Costco. Okay. In fact, all of the indigenous, yeah, it was cool, wasn't it? All the local charcoal that you get, right? It's all lump charcoal, and there's a reason for it. And lump charcoal is the only charcoal, I gotta do this, the only charcoal that you can add directly to a fire without having to burn it down. Will you stop doing this? I tapped this button. I'm trying to get, thank you. That's what I'm trying to get. Yeah, lump charcoal is the only charcoal that you can add directly to a cooking fire. Because if you, one of my designs for a wood smoker had a valve that would shunt the smoke out of the smoke chamber and up an auxiliary, excuse me, chimney, because oftentimes you need to add more wood. And in the States, lump charcoal is a premium and it's expensive. You can buy Kingsford dirt cheap. I mean, you could afford to use Kingsford as a deodorizer, right? But yeah, the lump charcoal that I was getting in New Hampshire, it was great, but it was really weird, odd, bizarre shapes. And here in Taiwan, you go buy lump charcoal. You guys have probably seen my live streams and some of the the still shots I've taken of barbecue stuff that we do here. And they're little, they're little sticks. They're tiny, they're small logs, they're intact. I didn't have that in New Hampshire when I bought lump charcoal, but I only would use Kingsford just to start the wood. I put a little bit down because it was cheap. And if I had to add anything to it, sometimes you can, it depends on the ambient temperature and whatnot, you can get really close to being done, but the wood is burned down to where it's not supplying quite enough heat. You got flavor coming off of it, but you need more heat. And you don't want to open the cooking chamber and let all the smoke out, so you can put a couple of fresh logs on them, let them burn down and char over and basically lose like 30 minutes. So you just put half a bag of lump charcoal in, and it takes care of the heat, and then you're done. So, but yeah, so when I'm in North Carolina with my sister, we're not going to be using anything. We're not going to be using Kingsford unless we just use it to start the fire. But really, in Taiwan, we have, in other parts of Asia, we use little candles. They make, what a Hershey's Kiss looks like? I'm talking about? It's kind of a teardrop thing, and it's got the, the twist and the label. Imagine that, probably 3/4 size, but made out of wax, and it's all wax papered, and it's tied up in the top, and the wax paper sticking up. You can buy a bag of these candles. There might be 10 or 15 of them in a bag for like 30 cents US. And you just line them up in a line and light the first one, and they just burn like this. But each one burns for about 15 minutes, which is enough time to start wood on fire. So yeah, that's a really, really cool, it's a type of candle. It's a really cool thing. And it burns away completely, and it's paraffin wax. It's pretty clean. But yeah, that's something that, we put in our go bag, emergency go bag, because you want to start a fire. And I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. And these things are cheap, and they fit, anywhere. But candles in general are good. I have a Eastern Mountain Sports. I don't even know if they're around anymore, from Massachusetts. I have a candle lantern, the kind with the spring on the bottom. It's kind of a bullet-shaped candle. And I brought that with me from Taiwan. It has a neoprene cover that kind of breaks in the middle. And amazing. And I got some citronella candles here for it in Taiwan. I have not used those. Rob says, have I ever used one of those Taiwanese chicken ovens? No, I haven't. It's 2 concentric steel tubes. Despite the fact that the oven is separated from the fire, it still takes in some of the fire flavor. I haven't. I've seen, there's a place in Yangmei that has what I think it's the best sao rou and kao ya, the best roast pork and roast duck place in Taiwan, which is saying a lot because there's a million of them. But they've got those, look like big barrels. I think that might be what you're talking about. But there is a place. I would love to take you there. They actually have on the weekends they'll have some chick playing keyboards or something. Or last time I was there, I had a guy playing. It's mostly women playing keyboards and singing. But this is a place that they call I think it probably is. It's the number 8 beer house. That's sort of how I would translate the name, right? But next door, they have a place that just makes chicken. It's owned by the same owner. So when you're in the Bahao, the number 8 restaurant, you can order the chicken. It's like $4.50 NT. So what's that, like about $16 or something? Whole chicken, man, and it's nice. Went there with my family, and we got it. And it has, the biggest problem that with that kind of cooking is that it can dry it out, right? So that's the secret. If you can cook it and maintain, you know, the juices without completely leaching the thing dry, and then impart that flavor to it. I mean, that's the kung fu, right? So they got it. But that's a pretty good place. They just don't have the pork, you know, the sao rou. They don't have the roast pork there, but that chicken's pretty good. But yeah, all in all, you know, Taiwan is a great place to live. And excuse me, it would be hard for me to move back and live there just because I'm used to the convenience. I'm used to the freedom. I'm used to the smaller footprint of the town. I mean, I ride my bike everywhere around here. I drive my car when I'm going to the next town over. But like, you know, my sister lives, man, to get out of the development where she lives, you gotta drive 10 minutes. It's like, it's crazy, man. And where's the 7-Eleven? Well, you gotta use Google Maps because it's in town somewhere, you know? And the funny thing is, even though this is rural, it still has a certain amount of urban, I don't know what to say, functionality or services, availability. It's kind of interesting. Even when you're in the sticks, you know, the far nether regions of Taiwan, there's always some place you can have fun. And that was the biggest problem for me. Like when I was working in the States and had projects in Taiwan, and I would go to Taiwan 3, 4, 5 times a year. Every time I go back to the States, I would get depressed, you know. Okay, so here's what Rob says, for those of you who aren't reading this. That's the magic. He's talking about, when I was talking about drying it out, right? He said the chicken spiked vertically over a metal dish that sits in the oven. The firebox is underneath the oven floor, and the heat flows up around the sides of the oven section. Okay, makes sense. Keep the lid on, and it won't dry out. Okay, what I'm going to do, Mike, is if you can read this, right? I just wrote Kung Fu in Chinese. The literal definition is high skill. The first word, gong, there are a couple of other words that have the same tone. I'm going to show you this one. This one, gong, it's a high tone. That means public. That has no relation to this word. But the second gong that I just typed in the chat is the word that we use for work. And what it is you'll notice it's a line like this, then a straight line down. It looks like a giant letter I, and that's supposed to be a carpenter's square. And actually, that carpenter's square is also the basis for the word for right, like right hand, and left for left hand. And because it has to do with, you know, holding the carpenter's, you hold the carpenter's, the square in the left hand because you're using your right hand. So, but I'll get back to that in a second. So, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Rob, and I've had that, and it's really great. Believe it or not, I used to, well, years ago, like my Taiwanese friends in the 70s would come over to my house, and they bring some food. They bring a chicken, and they say, "Want to cook a chicken in your oven?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead." So these guys, I swear this is related. They would cut a bunch of garlic and green onions, you know, scallions. They would just chop. They would cut the roots off, chop the white part, and then they would make the green part, like, you know, they would cut a little bit of it. Then they would leave a long part of it. They took the chopped white ends of the onion and the garlic, and they rubbed it all over the skin. And what they would do is they would put oil on the skin and rub it on the skin to get the flavor. Then they would throw that stuff inside the chicken, and then they would shove the scallions in and leave the scallions sticking out the butt. the cavity. And then they would put a bowl of water in the bottom of the oven, and that's exactly what would happen. Boy, it would kept it. And the thing is, instead of making the gravy from the drippings in that thing, what we did was we put it in a pan. So the steam would go up and it would hit the chicken, moisturize it. And just like you said, even though it's bizarre, man, I mean, I used to not understand this, but even though the environment was moist, the skin crisped, and it was amazing. And you know what? I used to cook that dish a lot. I've cooked it even here for my family, but they don't like me to cook. But Mike, it's pronounced gong, like high tone, fu. But of course in English we just say kung, because I guess it's Wade Giles. It's one of the older forms of pinyin, which is a way to spell Chinese words with English romanization. So it called it K-U-N-G, but the modern would be G-O-N-G. The modern way to spell that would be like this. Oh, sorry, I'm still in Chinese. Gong. 2 words, actually. It's 2 words. And it means high skill. Hackers talk about their kung fu. And that's a very accurate term to use for high skill of any type. Now, the funny thing is, we have Kung Fu Cha, which means Kung Fu tea. Really interesting. Kung Fu Cha, that's what that looks like. Sometimes that's called Lao Reng Cha, like old people's tea. But what Kung Fu tea is the art. It's what I practice because I learned from the Hukou tea master. I have a chapan in my house, which is a Sanyi hand-carved tea tray. And I've got a collection of teapots and stuff, and I know a lot about how to select these teas right from this tea master. He's been teaching me since 2004. He retired, his son took over. Mr. Gan, I have introduced Mr. Gan on live streams before. So what it is it's a small pot with a relatively large amount of tea in it for the size of the pot. So if you're going to make British tea, British style tea, you have to steep a minimum of 10 minutes. But it's not unusual to just leave the tea in the pot. Of course, if you have a tea bag and a cup, then you can remove it. But you're talking about a 10-minute steeping time. It's not like that with Kung Fu tea. The skill is not to oversteep it. So you've got a tiny pot. Okay, really the volume of the pot's about like this cup. It's got a nice handle on it, and there are many important design considerations for a proper teapot, and Mr. Gan explained all those to me. So if I go like the Miao Li night market, the guy tries to sell me some bullcrap teapot for 1,000 NT, I can take it apart. I'll offer him 200 for it, and after I take it apart. But here's how it works. You put a relatively large amount of tea in, and then you pour the water in very quickly. And it's a short infusion. We're talking between 1 minute to 2 minutes most, okay, as opposed to like a normal 10-minute or more steep time. And then you have what they call the gong bei, which in English we would call that a pitcher, but it means a public cup. What that means is that from the teapot, you say, okay, it's time. You pour 100% of the tea out really quickly into the gong bei, and it stops the infusion. And then from there, then you pour the individual teacups, for the guests. The idea being that with a very carefully timed infusion, if you were to start pouring tea, probably nobody would notice, but by the time you get to the end cup, it's longer here than it is there, and it changes the flavor. Most people aren't acute to notice a difference, but it's also a matter of politeness too. They want everybody to have the same experience. And then we have what we call the Wenxiangbei, which is, we would call that an aroma cup in English. And it's narrow at the top, kind of like a wine glass, but it is a teacup. In Taiwan, what they typically do is whoever's the host will, from the gongbei, right, from the pitcher, will pour the tea into the aroma cup and then put your regular teacup on top of it like this and serve it like that on the chapan, right? I think you might. Yeah. If you had like a 30-second to 1 minute difference between teacup A and teacup B to pour, I think you're right. I think people would tell because the other one would be stronger. It might be bitter too. It might be, because that's the other thing too, is you got to balance when the infusion should end when the flavor has reached the level you want it to reach, but before it goes into the acidic or the bitterness phase, you know. So it's pretty interesting. So yeah, it is. It's huge. It's everything. And that's how you can tell if somebody's full of crap or not, is if they're serving you like bitter cup after cup because this guy doesn't know what he's doing. But anyway, so with the Wenxiangbei, right? So they poured in the aroma cup, put that cup on. Of course, this is all on the wooden tea tray, so nobody actually has to touch it because it's hot. But the kung fu for the drinker is, imagine, so this is the, you know, okay, the aroma cup, and it's got the teacup, is for you to go like this, flip it over with one hand, and you take the aroma cup out and all the tea falls into the teapot or into the teacup, and then you drink that, right? But then what you do is, over the course of the next ensuing few minutes, you smell the teacup. Now, when I went to France, I introduced Patrick and his wife to Kung Fu tea. I brought some really special tea from Taiwan, and they probably would be unlikely to get that in France because most of those special teas are not exported. All that tea around that area that we see, Rob, I went over there and talked to one of the distributors. And he said, this is low mountain tea and we export this stuff. And he said, but we don't export any of the high mountain tea. It's only for domestic use. I'm like, really? And I've heard that over and over again. So every once in a while you'll hear, in America, I'll hear somebody has, oh, they've got some Taiwan high mountain tea. Yeah, well, they brought it on a plane and it's super expensive, but you really can't get it. I think probably now Taiwan has become more of an international minded. I mean, they're not quite as close on that, but you might be able to set up a supply chain, you know, for that. But I tried to get people interested in the Sanyi hand carved tea trays back in, my gosh, like 1999, you know, 2000, and nobody was. They just weren't interested in it, you know. So anyway, maybe it's changed now, but I don't live there anymore. So, but yeah, so you have the aroma cup, and the beautiful thing about the aroma cup, which is so amazing, is that it develops. The aroma develops. It starts turning into like almost a toasted, very savory flavor, and it's just so amazing. Yes. Dude, you're like a brother from another mother. Single malt scotches are one of my favorite things on this earth. And I have trouble with some of them, like Knockandu, which is just an oak bomb and there's no mastery in the expression. But talk about wine. I mean, okay, I used to laugh at people who would get out the flavor chart and say, oh, I taste chocolate and I taste all this, you know, because they would ask me, what do you taste? I taste rotten grapes. And I'm like, oh, well, let me tell you what happened. Okay. Oh, on the other side of the mountain is a. I'll take you there sometime if you want. On the other side of the mountain is a company that owns all those and distributes them. You can just drive right in there and buy it. Yeah, it's from there. So yeah. But I mean, I don't think 100% of that is going to the. I mean, they handle it. If you go there, you can buy some, but who knows? I mean, who knows where it ends up? But it is exported largely, is what they told me, because it's low altitude tea, right? But when I, like my favorite distillery, Glendronach, and of course one of my other favorites, Lagavulin 16. And when I was at the Cowboy Bar, he gave me this Lagavulin Master Series that was 28 years old, and I thought I was going to die, and I didn't care. It was just amazing, right? And I do taste the chocolate and the soft fruits and the honey and the spices and stuff, right? Sounds good. And so with Andreas is from Germany. He's a master craftsman. He's a master brewer, and he was in charge of the brewery owned by Simon over here, right, in Huco, right? The brewery where you can go over there, where if you've got 50,000 NT, you can brand your own beer. It's amazing. That's not much, so. We're gonna have to have a single malt live stream, okay? Scotch in the studio or something like that, right? That'd be fantastic. And what I love about Huco in particular, but of course Taiwan all over. Taiwan is like supposedly the 5th largest whiskey market in the world. And oh man, okay, yikes. Oh, you probably have seen, or you've probably tasted stuff that I have only read about in a magazine, right? What I love about Taiwan is you go to the airport and I see expressions, like I said, I only read about. I've seen stuff, I have bought stuff in Taiwan that I only dreamed of anywhere else. And whiskey is so cheap here. I was telling one of my followers bought the 12-year Glendronach, the red label, in the United States, based on my recommendation. It was $75 US. I bought it in Taiwan for 1,000 NT, $30. That's just normal. It's a great whiskey nation. And like, I got some Tamavulin the other night. It was 600 NT. I was like, it's a single malt Scotch for 600 NT. I mean, that's like, cleaning alcohol price for 700 milliliters. I mean, this is crazy, right? But what I did over here at this place, now this is for my detractors who, when I taste wine and I taste rotten grapes, because there are some wines that I like. And when I was in France, I was drinking some high-level wines, thanks to my friend Patrick and his wife, who know what they're doing. And that's the thing, though. You got to know what you're doing, because let me give you an example about not knowing what you're doing. You just can't walk in a store and buy a single malt whiskey, because you'll choke on it. It'll kill you. I mean, or you buy a wine, like, what is this? I was over here at a Vietnam place, and the boss was Taiwanese. And I had some really nice rum that I had infused with cinnamon. I'm not a fan of Cavallon. Let me talk about that in a minute. I want to get back to that. But I have my reasons, but I'm not like, I'm just saying, I'm not a fan, that's all. But this Taiwan guy says, what are you drinking? And I had infused some rum with Sri Lankan cinnamon, and it tasted amazing. And so he said, what are you drinking? And he grabbed my bottle, he took a little glass, and went like this, and he goes, oh, it's too strong. And I had soda water next to me, and he didn't grab the soda water. He goes over to the ice box and gets out a bottle of green tea, pours it in there, cuts with the green tea, and he goes, oh, tastes terrible, blah, and he left the table. And you know what? I didn't do one single thing to dissuade him because I don't want him drinking my rum. And that's another thing too about Cavalon. Cavalon is one of the most expensive whiskeys you can buy in Taiwan, and I contend that it is just so people can show off how rich they are, because I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a place where they're drinking Macallan 15 or 12, they're drinking Singleton, they're drinking high-level Scotch whiskeys to get drunk. The idiocy. So when I go out to drink, I have two levels of liquor. I like Teachers, you know, Highland Cream. I like White Horse. Those are decent, you know, blended whiskeys, and there are a number of nice blended whiskeys. But I almost never will go out someplace where I'm gonna, you know, be sharing with other people. I almost never will drink a single malt, because they'll take, I mean, seriously, I know people that would take Lagavulin 16, go like this, and just down it to get drunk. I'm like, oh, please, that's gotta be against scripture or something. I mean, it's, you know. So I went to Cavalon, right? I went to the Cavalon distillery in 2011 with my brother when he was here, and I had to wear my earplugs because the girl was in the room introducing the whiskeys with the, you know, the karaoke mic turned on 10. The only one that I could tolerate was the Solist. I felt, to me, like everything was an oak bomb. It was so oaky. It was like, bam, oh man, it's like the barrel's over my head. The Solist actually had, like, it was the sherry cask finish, right? Green tea and cola, yep. And an 18-year whiskey. Absolutely. That's bad enough that they have green tea beer here, but yeah. But see, it's about getting drunk. So you can't bring the fine whiskey out, you know, just like the wedding where Jesus changed the water into wine, you know. The MC for the wedding said, wow, these guys saved the best wine for last. Usually they bring the good wine out, and then they give everybody the hooch later after they've been intoxicated. But that's what these guys do. They treat it like it's hooch. Because, you know, you see these guys going here and they'll buy a 50 NT, $1.50 bottle of Mijo, right? Some kind of rice wine, and they drink that. And then they'll follow it up. You say, what are you drinking? I'm drinking, well, let's see. Yeah, this is Glendronach 15. So, yeah, is it good? Sure, it's great. And they'll just down it. They'll throw it, and not even like fathom or comment. But I'm trying to get back to this. I went over to the beer place where Andreas had just bottled, like a couple days earlier, a new expression of beer. No, we are here to have fun and treat our friends. But we have to have fun and treat our friends according to our knowledge of our friends and their likes and dislikes. And it's like, seriously, Mr. Gon at this tea shop sold me some teapots that are so old, the masters that made them are dead. And he told me to my face, he said, you appreciate tea more than many of the Taiwan people that come in here. So I don't have a problem. So he refused to sell those teapots until I asked him. And he said that he would sell them to me because he knew that I would care for them. And I saw him. These are pots made out of multicolored clay, so they're swirled. I have several swirled material pots I got from Mr. Gon, and they're phenomenal. I've showed these on other live streams. But I went to Andreas, and he said, what do you think of this beer? And just tasting it, I identified all the flavors in the profile, and his jaw dropped. And he realized, this is somebody I can talk to about flavor profiles and things, right? So when I go to to see him over there in Hualien. Last year, he had distilled his first rum ever. Now he's doing a commercial. If you look at on Instagram or Facebook, The Green Farm, he's doing some amazing stuff. He actually built a distillery in Raychoy now, and he's full time. He just won a bunch of awards for his compounded gin. He's distilling daylily liquor. He has daylily beer, which grows in the area, you know, the daylilies. He's also, he said the rats ate his sugar cane, but he's got molasses now for rum. He's going to be, I will let you know this, Rob. He is now selling mini casks, okay, of rum, these mini casks. I sure will. Absolutely. It's a bike ride from my house. It's between my house and the Thai places where I go party. And you could just go over there and buy stuff. Simon's pretty cool. But if you said, hey, I was going to have a party, could I get a keg of dark beer or something? No problem. And you can rent the, you know, the tap and everything. It's amazing. It's cheap. I brought Athula, the Sri Lankan guy in my neighborhood who had the curry house. I brought him over there because he wanted to serve beer. A lot of places will do this. Like the Filipinos like to come and drink, and they'll do, you know, 100 NT for a 500 liter stein, so like that. Yeah, it is amazing. So Andreas has been doing incredible stuff. Andreas has coffee liquor. So I put my name on the list for one of the mini kegs. I want to buy his mini keg, but I tried that rum. See, I use a mini keg because it has to do with surface area versus volume. And the mini keg can simulate longer periods of maturation. Like it might be 6 years in a barrel, but it might be 6 months in a small one, right? And he gave me a dram of this rum that was only, I think he said it was 2 weeks old, and it was off the charts amazing. It had already turned color. It was just, no sugar added, so sweet. Like a Manila rum, the butterscotch and the kind of a candy undertone. But, you know, like 45%, just, So I gave Andreas, listen to this, man. That is probably not a bad idea. Actually, you and I should start a new channel and just call it K&K Do Huko. Kind of like Beavis and Butthead Do America, but you know, but yeah, because there is so much stuff here, right? And we could interview guys like, you know, and I know people in the Huko government. We might actually be able to get some backing from them because it's part of the Hsinchu County tourism thing, you know. And yeah, who knows? Who knows? I actually, at one time, was investigating that railway art site in you know, behind the Hsinchu train station as a place to do, because I still own the domain taiwanlive.tv, a place to do a live music show from Taiwan. But at the time, I couldn't get anybody interested in it. My friend Peter was interested in doing. We're talking a great deal of money here, but we're talking about doing a very high level entertainment complex in Jubei City, you know, where you'd have like big band kind of stuff, basically kind of like if we went back to 1958 to 1968, around, you know, and that. So yeah, me too. Well, we're just gonna have to talk about it and plan it out. And we could do a combination of live streams and, you know, edited material. The great part about it is we can work independently together and collaborate later on it, you know, and then do commentary and voiceovers later. It's all easy to do. But that rum that he did, he's got coffee liqueur, and I got to get that too. But what I'm saying is I proved my sort of taste flavor pedigree. So the wine people used to complain, well, you really don't have, you know, developed sense of taste. And my sense of taste may be overly developed, because I will tell you one thing, I cannot eat lamb, because my senses tell me it's beef that's off. They tell me that when I take a bite of lamb, it tastes like beef that has putrefied, and it makes me sick. That's very strange, but I've always been like that since day one. But I can eat deer or squirrel or rabbit or any of these other game foods, but lamb sends me sick. I don't even like to go to a lamb restaurant when my wife and daughter are eating, and they'll cook me something else, like, you know, some kind of vegetable, because it has lamb smell permeated in it. That's okay. They go by themselves, or I'll, you know, whatever. But with wine, there's always some kind of acidic undertone from the putrefaction, not really, but it tastes like that, of the grape. And I think probably the skin. So that's why, to me, I mean, I love Merlot. It's dark and smoky. It used to give me a headache, but I think I've gotten over that. It's dark and smoky, and I like big flavors. I don't like wimpy flavors. You know, I like a ton of spice. It is very basic, and it can be good. I found, for me, I think I like white wines better. I was with a friend of mine. We were at the Parker House in Boston, and he ordered a wine for us in German language, and the wine captain went and got it. And you could taste the peel of the grape. That was one of the most fantastic wine experiences that I've ever had. But I don't know. To me, the world of Scotch is so much deeper and, in my opinion, more rewarding than wines, because I just think the flavor profiles of wines are just so narrow. Yeah, there is a little bit of a difference between the red wines, and if you really dig into it, you might be able to say, well, this kind of tastes like Australian. This kind of tastes like maybe Spanish, or, but yeah, I do too. I would totally agree with that statement. I would totally agree with that statement, because I tell you what, you can go over here to 7-Eleven and buy a bottle of Yellowtail that's damn good, you know, for 300 NT. You could go to Costco and buy something from Portugal that's 5,000 NT, and I defy you to really tell me the difference, because it's so very, very similar. But there's a huge difference in whiskeys within that same price range. Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, exactly. It's funny how you said that. Crap vinegar wine. But you know, I mean, when I was in North Carolina, right, I knew a couple guys that drank Thunderbird. And I'll never forget, I was in the dark corner of YouTube, and I saw you can, and I have had people ask me, can you introduce me to single malt Scotch? And I, of course, and I would get shots of various types and say, okay, this is an Islay whiskey, you know, and they're known for this flavor profile, and often they have peat smoke. But the Highlands, way up high, you know, it's hard to get peat because it's expensive, so there generally aren't peat. And they're like, oh yeah, I see, it's amazing. But I was in a dark corner of YouTube, and I heard, this is James Mason for Thunderbird wine, and I was like, it's Captain Nemo, man, from 20,000 Leagues. I like Thunderbird because it has a screw top, and if I've had too much, I can easily get the wine out without any type of tool. It's like I was like, I don't know what he was saying, but he was making up some horse crap, right, about Thunderbird wine, and I was like, man, it was towards the end. He was kind of, you know, he sank kind of low. So yes, it does. Well, the other thing too is a lot of wines are fortified. They're fortified with anything from cow's blood to who knows what, you know, and it's just, you don't know what you're going to get. And throughout history, drugs have been administered through wine. You know, like condemned criminals or something are gonna get hung or nailed or whatever. They would give them, you know, wine with myrrh or whatever. And so, yeah, you just don't know. But I will tell you, Clay Jewell, CJ, he's on the East Coast, True One Studios. The guy's been dominating the charts for the last couple of years. Amazing. A friend of mine. My wife and I were at his house, and he had the best Portuguese I've ever had in my life. All I got to say is I'm glad he had 2 bottles of it. And so when I go back, I'm going to bring a couple of bottles for him. But my wife is very picky. She doesn't drink a lot. My wife used to drink with me back in the old days in Thailand. We would kill like a whole bottle of Suntory in one afternoon, right? But this port, he sent me a picture of it, so it's in my photo library. I don't remember the name of it. But it was one of those that, because I don't like sweet stuff, you know, like I like 100% cacao, 99% cacao chocolate. I get tea, coffee, whatever, no sugar ever, no exceptions. Hate it. Don't like sweet. And for me, the worst thing is sweet wine. It's like, oh, just pour it in a dog's bowl, see if he likes it. But other than that, just put it. Don't even put it in the drain. Just pour it out in the yard. Sweet wine is like, it's wrong. It's just wrong. But this port was not sweet at all. But I don't know how to describe it, except when I was drinking it, I felt like the flavor was deep, if you know what I mean, and it was also layered, which I like. Because like I said, I'm a big flavor person, and some of the stuff I've had in Thailand, where the initial flavors would be like, and they knock you out with the heat, but then after a while, the back of the palate starts producing just real subtle. It's just amazing. So, Lafroig. Oh, of course, yes. Yes. They do. But you know, Lafroig and Ardbeg are remarkably similar. But what really kills me is that Ardbeg, and I don't know how they do it, but they consistently put out whiskey expressions, single malts, that are 5 years or 10 years. And that's it. And it tastes like a 12 or a 15, you know, by somebody else. I don't know how they do that. Because Lafroig's, I mean, I've had the quarter cask and some of their non-age statement stuff, you know, that's, you know, it's been 2 years, but it hasn't been 10 years, or 4 years maybe. And, you know, they're good. But the thing about Lafroig is its main, to me, Lafroig's main attraction is the nose more than the palate, you know, because the aromatics in it from the peat smoke, you know, and you're always nosing it and go, oh wow, that's amazing, and it really loads you up. And then when you taste the whiskey, it's almost anticlimactic until you swallow it, and then you've got the aromatics coming back into your nose again. It's pretty interesting. I mean, it's an interesting science. I love my Lafroig too. I do. I haven't had any Ardbeg for a while. It's expensive too. I was looking at the Lafroig. I said, wait a minute, I can get a 12-year for not much more than I can get this 5-year. And they're like almost from the same area. So it used to bug me. But anyway, I really shouldn't care, and it shouldn't be about the cost, but it's hard to beat that Lagavulin. But place in Jubei near my daughter's Yamaha class, they got the Ben Reich. And of course, I'm going to slaughter these names, right? And yes, it is. But you know, from time to time, I still enjoy going back to it. I really do. I go back to it a lot. So, oh, it is. It's unmistakable too, and it's just like, um, it's such a staple, you know. Yeah, I like to go back to it once in a while. So, and it's not, you know, it's affordable. It's not too bad. But I had a Lagavulin 16 about 2 months ago. And boy, I got to tell you, I bought it at the store. My daughter was in class. And I'm sitting in the car going, should I open this, man? I got a glass right here somewhere, don't I? I mean, I probably would have just waterfalled. I mean, I really, really wanted to try it, but I didn't. I resisted. But the Tamavulin I got, I still have some back in the house. Talking about whiskey, I guess I'm going to go back to the house and have some of that sit in front of the TV and watch Casey Stern camera conspiracies and see what he's come up with today. But yeah, that was very, very enjoyable. But what happened was I used to be more experimental. You like Bowmore? Bowmore has some really nice expressions. Talisker, oh yes. Yes. And Deanston also. I've had some really amazing expressions by Deanston that I wouldn't expect in it, because you look at it looks like in the old days when they had generic, you know, beer with a barcode. It's just a white thing and it's got a stamp on it. You look at Deanston, it's like Oban, yep. A lot of people love Oban, yep. I have not had Oban in a number of years, but the Glendronach, you know the story of the distillery, right? It fell into, it went out of production, and nobody bought it, and so the current owners bought it, and they checked the maturization warehouse and found that they had whiskeys that were over 40 years old. And what they did was, there was a time, and I got some of these bottles. There was a time when you could buy it's a green box Glendronach 15 Revival, and it was a 40-year-old whiskey. And I had one, and my friend Grady came to Taiwan, and I didn't know at the time. I just knew it was off the charts, amazing. I poured this, and he was like, God bless. He said, what the hell is this? And then he went back to the States, but all those are gone now. But there was a period, you should just check that out. Do some reading on Glendronach about what happened to the distillery. I mean, for me, I would have held those back. Over in Jubei, next to the Michelin tire store, there's it's called Bordeaux in English. There's a liquor store in Jubei, and I've seen them. They have 2 bottles of Glendronach that are 40 years old, and they're not for sale. And down at the Cowboy Bar, here's an adventure for you, Rob. The Cowboy Bar in Kaohsiung. I interviewed him one time. He has over 2,000 bottles of single malt scotch. I have personally seen in the collection, because they're in glass cabinets that go up the staircase. I personally saw bottles with labels from the 60s. I mean, you know, it's not Ernest Shackleton's, but I mean, it's 1960 expressions. So if you have a couple of friends and you said, hey, let's get 5 guys together, we're gonna chip in 10,000 each, we'll buy a 50,000 bottle of whiskey, you can have one heck of a time down there. But that would make an amazing live stream. And they have an upstairs room. And the boss of the place is a friend of mine, and he's absolutely into live streaming. I've live streamed from his bar 10 times, I don't know. Whenever I live stream, I've got my phone on the bar and the gimbal, and he'll interrupt me and bring me another sample. I have tasted so many whiskeys I never even heard about, but Johnson would bring me a sample. And if I had to pay for them, that would be, I mean, some of these samples, you know, they're $10,000 a shot, NT dollars a shot. I mean, he's just giving, because he wants me to describe them on camera. So I know, but my wife's from Kaohsiung. I'm heavily connected down there. Listen, every time I go to Kaohsiung, I play at least 2 clubs. So we're going to be having fun at the Rocks Club, and then we can, yeah. But hey, it's it's for YouTube, honey. It's it's part of my new business plan. Okay, don't worry about it. We're gonna So we could do that, yeah. Kaohsiung is amazing, as you well know. But yeah, I should introduce you to Simon over there at the beer place, because even if he's not busy, you just go there. Hey, I want to take a look, and he'll send you one of the guys. Yeah, I'm somewhat sort of a native guy there. I've been there a bunch of times. I'm well known, and people are always asking when they're coming back down. I get offers to play some clubs, but I'm just too busy right now. I got to wait until end of the year. I got to wait until my new Brian May Red Special, the handmade one from Raymond, comes in, and then I'm gonna. Side note: I have a plan. Raymon, Raymond Guitar Works. I bought a Red Special, hand carved, original specs. Bought it last year, and it's going to be ready next month. So when it gets in Taiwan, I'm going to play some clubs down there with backing tracks, and I'm going to do like a 60s, 70s, and 80s show, and then the second show will be all Queen songs with that thing. So it should be pretty interesting. But that's a side note. But yeah, I'd like to introduce you to that. Even if you just go down there and you're down there sometime without me, I'd just introduce you to Johnson. I've done it many times. I just send him a text message. Hey, my friend's coming. Can you set him up? At the bar, and they all tell me later. Wow, he really took good care of me. He speaks Japanese, Spanish, Taiwanese, English, and Chinese. And he's the kind of bar owner that sometimes you go to a bar and you want to have a good time, but you're not sure how to start off. I haven't really thought about it. I got to say, what do you have? You go, you know what? I don't know. Because there's, 1,000 bottles right behind it. And what kind of mood are you in? What do you feel like? And what do you like? And so one night I went in and I said, I don't know what I want, but I want something with amaretto. And for the next several hours, he kept me supplied with nothing but amaretto drinks, and everyone was different. And he didn't look anything up. He just had it in his head. So just for example, he's really good like that. Another bar I go to named Oxford. Another boss lady and her boyfriend, Alex. Really cool guy. He's actually from the Netherlands. Speaks French too. Spent a long time in France. But really interesting people. But they like to experiment. And I told them about like the toasted almond that I used to drink in Boston. Kahlua, amaretto, and cream or milk. And if you put a splash of vodka on the top, they call it a crunch. And they put it on the menu. So they're always experimenting. The Propeller rum from Lithuania that you could get. I got a couple bottles from that, from Kaohsiung. And also that really amazing Caribbean Kirkland St. Croix Caribbean rum, the 1.75 liter bottle. I had to go all the way to Kaohsiung to find it. I found the last case of it, about 6 bottles. I brought 2 home with me. I got 4 down there. So I need to go back down there to grab my rum and bring it back. But if we go down there, we got something to drink. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there, and a lot of cool things, to explore, but a lot of flavors. And I just don't like subtle flavors, and I like to mix things. And those of you who've been watching my channel for 6 or 7 years know that I'll taste certain things, and then when I'm all done, I'll put them together. This is whatever it is, I'll just pour them together, because that's what I like to do. That's the fun for me. 104. Wow, we've been on for a while. 104. No kidding. An hour and 4 minutes. Is that right? Yeah. Wow. What do we got here? Does it even have a, on the live stream, does it even have a, nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. So I think I'm gonna, because it's 14 minutes after midnight, I think I'm gonna call this a night. It's been fun. And Mike, thanks for joining. And let's see, well, we have quite a number of comments. Feifei was with us. Thank Feifei, and of course Rob. So I guess Rob and I guess we got to start a YouTube channel. But he's right, there's a lot of stuff in Huco, a lot of interesting things. And apparently there's some railroad tunnels around and just so much. I mean, there's only so much time, but that collapsed farmhouse, it only has a couple walls left, but that's worth going over there and looking at because the name of the family is still up there. But that was a farmhouse. I showed it actually to Alexander Synaptic, and he hasn't seen it before. So, but there are some places around that we could definitely check out. I want to do the railroad, and I want to. The charcoal is fascinating. Anything that you can find on the charcoal, and Coco, how you doing? Wow, didn't see you. You're coming in now, and it's just oh, I'll get relieved. Rob, before I do that though, I'm gonna show you I want to show you something. I hope I can show it to you. In the upper left-hand corner, it's hard to see, but that is a Taiwan mapping app. And a Taiwan mapping app, so small. It's Taiwan Bainan. I think it's, anyway, it's 100 years worth of mapping. And there's an overlay. Okay, I think I might have showed this earlier, but there's an overlay of all the maps. And some of the places that you might want to look for on a modern map that you couldn't find, like if you want to go back to 40, I know I showed this before, you don't want to go back to like 1944, you just tap on it and there you are. And then you just, you zoom in and it's, it's 1944. So like this is, let's see. Yeah. There's a couple of them. Okay. Yeah, so you just change, the overlay that you want, and there it is. It's fantastic. So that is an app that you definitely want to invest in, and it's of course it's obviously free. But let's see, like, yeah. Anyway, wow, looks like they made a couple changes to it. Anyway, I got to check this out because it looks like it's not doing what it was doing before. So that's cool. Oh, you've been here? Not that I know of. It might be, but not that I know of. Rob, no idea. Oh, so you've been hanging around the back. Okay, cool. Just listen, that's cool. Well, as you can tell, it looks like we have some things that Rob and I are going to have to investigate. But 1944, 1945 would be interesting because that is actually like the Japanese era, right? So, yeah. And this is see what this is. And there's also, about that too, there's also the there's also the fault line map too, which is something that you really want to, I mean, yeah, the fault line map, that's, yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is not behaving the way that it was, so I don't know what to tell you. So I'm not sure who did it, but maybe I can make a screen cap of the, are you, okay, using iOS or Android? Yep, Huco fault, baby, yeah, exactly. If you're using iOS or Android, I'll find it I'll find it in the appropriate Play Store and send it to you. Now, I'm getting sprinkles. Little tiny sprinkles. So I think, yeah, she's getting ready to, sky's getting ready to pee on me. And the clouds are, believe it or not, I see some dark space. Oh wow, there's a star. Go figure. See some dark spaces, so I don't know, may blow over, but I don't really want to stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning just to do some astro imaging. I really need to get some sleep. So I'm going to say good night. I'm going to say it's iGen 1 Thank you everyone for joining. And we're going, and Coco, I'm sorry you came in at the point in time where we're gonna sign out. But thank you so much for joining us. And now I have to, I guess I have to just physically turn the camera off because the DJI Mimo app through which I live stream has signed me out. Oh, it's connecting. Okay. Oh, maybe we can take control again. Okay. Live stream in progress. Okay. It says 1 hour and 51 minutes. It's a pretty good live stream. So thanks, bro. I appreciate it. And Coco's still here, still waiting to hear from you. And then we'll plan what we're going to do at that point. But yeah, probably should put together a list of possible sites to explore and see what we can come up with. But guys, take care. Fist bump, everybody. And we'll see you next time on The Real Huco Taiwan. And this live stream